Hey, adrenaline junkies. Welcome to Adrenaline Pursuit. Today we're kicking off a brand new series featuring people who messed with the wrong cops. Every reckless decision leads to instant consequences. Buckle up, and let's roll. On May 5th, 2026, a trooper with the Arkansas State Police joined the pursuit of a stolen black GMC Sierra connected to an armed robbery in Pope County. As the pickup continued fleeing eastbound on Interstate 40, the trooper quickly assumed primary pursuit responsibilities.
113, and we are headed north on 113 now. Northbound on 113. We're fixing to meet you, Jake.
Okay. Get up here. Get my flag down real quick. I got time. I'm 6 right here. I just turned on 113. If he's missing you, I got it too.
The suspect repeatedly reached speeds near 100 miles per hour and drove into oncoming lanes multiple times on State Highway 113, while troopers attempted several TVI maneuvers that failed because of the vehicle's erratic driving.
They've turned onto this little side road right here. They've wrecked.
They wrecked on my road on 113.
Truck's still rolling.
After crashing into a ditch and continuing through a farm field, additional units quickly joined the chase.
Open the fucking door. All right, we're taking back off.
Corporal Jake Price attempted multiple TVIs, but was unsuccessful before Trooper Brandon Rogers finally delivered a successful TVI, causing the pickup to rotate across the field. A trooper then accelerated and struck the front of the GMC, completely disabling the vehicle. A K-9 unit was deployed after the suspect refused to exit the truck. Driver Courtney Damon was eventually pulled from the vehicle and arrested on multiple felony charges related to fleeing, reckless driving, and driving on a suspended license.
Or Henry Young. Step up.
On May 6th, 2026, at approximately 9:46 p.m., an officer with the Fort Smith Police Department attempted to stop a Suzuki GS 500 on Towson Avenue after discovering the motorcycle had no valid insurance. Once emergency lights and sirens were activated, the rider immediately accelerated away.
Red, black shoes, dark colored pants, brown jacket. South D, coming up to Rogers. Speeds are 62.
The motorcycle quickly blasted through multiple stop signs and red lights on Rogers Avenue at speeds nearing 100 miles per hour, repeatedly entering oncoming lanes through heavy traffic. Barling police officer Jay Cummings later joined the pursuit as the secondary unit.
Passing Mazar. About to come up to Mazar, stand by. In the oncoming traffic right now, passing Walmart.
Passing one more.
The chase eventually moved into a parking lot after the Suzuki traveled onto the shoulder and struck a curb, causing the rider to lose control. Officers immediately attempted to box in the motorcycle before it slammed into the driver's side door of a Barling police patrol unit.
You stupid motherfucker! Stupid motherfucker! You didn't.
The rider then fell onto the roadway, briefly attempted to flee on foot, and surrendered moments later. The suspect was identified as Sean Beagles and later faced multiple felony charges related to fleeing and reckless driving. On May 10, 2026, the Arkansas State Police joined the Little Rock Police Department in pursuing a silver Jeep Cherokee on Interstate 40 near North Little Rock. According to the report, the SUV repeatedly changed directions and even crossed through the interstate median while multiple police units stayed close behind during the high-speed chase. As the pursuit approached exit 153A, Trooper Katorius Bluford moved into the lead position. Despite being surrounded by several units, the driver continued fleeing and repeatedly ignored commands to stop. The pursuit finally ended after the Jeep was blocked on the interstate, and troopers approached the vehicle at gunpoint. The incident report stated that the suspect continued resisting during the arrest before officers fully subdued him and placed him into custody. He later faced multiple serious charges related to fleeing, drugs, firearms, and resisting law enforcement. On October 29, 2024, around 1:30 a.m., officers with the Metro Nashville Police Department spotted 22-year-old Carlos Esquivel driving a silver Dodge Challenger recklessly along Korean Veterans Boulevard in Nashville. Esquivel ignored police lights, weaved across traffic lanes, and performed donuts in the roadway while officers attempted to stop him. The situation escalated when the Challenger slammed head-on into a police vehicle before Esquivel fled the scene. He later surrendered to authorities and was booked on 4 charges, including aggravated assault on a police officer. On December 14th, 2023, a man called 911 reporting that Eddie Simmons, 44, a former employee, had intentionally run him off the road after days of threats. Around 10:30 a.m., officers located a blue Silverado in Flint and attempted to stop, but Simmons fled the wrong way at high speed, forcing units to terminate the pursuit due to safety concerns. At approximately 11:50 a.m., Simmons returned in a gold 2001 Silverado. When spotted again, he fled once more, racing through residential areas at nearly 100 miles per hour, aggressively passing vehicles and driving erratically, creating a serious danger to the public.
Get on the right track. Come up. Get on the right. Left forward. Get on the right.
Brown on Bradley. There's on Bradley Turbo.
Good on the right so far. Good.
Copy. Let's go westbound Court Street. Westbound Court Street from Bradley.
On Beecher Road, Trooper Halen executed a pit maneuver, striking the rear of the vehicle and causing it to spin out and crash into a tree. Immediately after the crash, Simmons and a passenger fled on foot to the nearby backyard.
You're gonna get shot!
Troopers pursued and quickly apprehended Simmons in a nearby yard. As a repeat violent offender with a history of fleeing, he now faces multiple charges. The incident reinforces that no matter how reckless the escape attempt, pursuits often end with a pit and arrest, leaving no real way out.
Get on the ground! On the ground!
On March 23, 2026, an Arkansas State Police trooper observed a silver sedan traveling at a high rate of speed on a highway just north of the airport. When lights and sirens were activated, the driver failed to stop and instead accelerated, weaving through lanes, forcing gaps, and quickly pushing the situation to a dangerous level. The pursuit rapidly intensified as multiple units coordinated ahead, while the trailing trooper maintained a steady follow distance at speeds exceeding 120 miles per hour. Rather than rushing, the trooper waited for the right moment, when traffic opened up and conditions were safe, then accelerated to close the gap. The front of the patrol unit was aligned toward the rear quarter of the suspect vehicle, and a decisive pit maneuver was executed. The impact forced the rear of the sedan to swing outward, completely breaking traction and disrupting its direction of travel. The vehicle lost control, sliding and rotating off its path before coming to a stop. The entire sequence unfolded within seconds, bringing the high-speed pursuit to an end despite the suspect's efforts to prolong it. Units quickly moved in, secured the scene, and took the driver into custody.
Yeah, I'm good. Hell yeah, it's over, no brother.
25 Bluff. He went through the median. He's over on the southbound side.
This incident once again highlights the nature of fleeing. Speed may extend the moment, but it cannot change the outcome. Every push of the accelerator only increases the risk, for the driver, for innocent motorists, and for law enforcement. In the end, every pursuit concludes in a way the suspect cannot control. At approximately 8:55 a.m. on February 28, 2024, a trooper positioned on I-185 near mile marker 44 observed a motorcycle traveling at 131 miles per hour in a 70 miles per hour zone. When emergency lights and siren were activated, the rider immediately accelerated, exiting the highway at Upper Big Springs Road and continuing the pursuit onto nearby roads.
Turning right on Raglan, right on Raglan.
While tracking the rider through Callaway Church Road and GA 109, the trooper confirmed the suspect was fully aware of the stop, after the rider looked back before accelerating even further. The suspect, later identified as Kyle Lamar Wingo, even turned into a camper dealership lot to loop around before re-entering Greenville Street in an attempt to escape. The pursuit came to an end when Wingo failed to stop at a stop sign at the intersection of GA 109 and collided with a vehicle traveling lawfully, sending the motorcycle to the ground. Despite the crash, he attempted to pick the bike back up and continue fleeing. At that moment, Corporal Turner made light contact with the rear of the motorcycle using his patrol vehicle, causing Wingo to lose balance and fall, effectively ending the pursuit.
Ground.
Wingo was taken into custody at the scene. A search revealed a Ruger LCP .380 handgun that had been reported stolen out of Houston County, Alabama. He later stated he fled because he was speeding and did not have a valid driver's license. After medical evaluation, he was transported to the Troup County Jail for processing. This incident shows how, at extreme speeds, even a single mistake can end everything in an instant. And once a suspect chooses to flee, the outcome is rarely escape, but impact and arrest. On March 25, 2026, at approximately 11:54 p.m., a trooper observed a red Jeep Cherokee believed to be stolen traveling on State Highway 107. When a traffic stop was initiated, the driver refused to comply and immediately accelerated, fleeing through multiple roadways at speeds of approximately 60 to 65 miles per hour, while making repeated directional changes to evade.
He's on the red. Okay.
1037.
1037. On 107. Silverado Trooper being next year for out of 56 and 55.
The pursuit continued along Old Tom Box Road and onto Maddox Road, with the suspect maintaining speed and attempting to create distance. Units remained in controlled pursuit, holding position and waiting for a safe opportunity to intervene as road conditions allowed.
East on Maddox Road, passing in Happy Valley, speed
10 more.
East on Maddox, passing back, Old Tom Box, speed 65.
10 more. County's been notified.
Near the intersection of Maddox and Centennial, a pit maneuver was executed on the driver's side, disrupting the vehicle's balance and forcing the rear to swing out. The Jeep rotated off its line of travel but continued forward on momentum, breaking through a fence and sliding further down range.
TBI.
Before the vehicle came to a complete stop, the suspect opened the door, exited, and fled on foot to the north.
Centennial Maddox. He's in a backyard.
Footbell, Centennial, Maddox.
Units quickly established a perimeter and conducted a track but were unable to locate the suspect at that time. The vehicle was recovered and processed at the scene. This incident highlights a consistent reality. Fleeing, whether by speed or on foot, does not change the outcome. It only delays the inevitable moment when control is lost and the situation ends beyond the suspect's control.
Gray pants, had a beard, bald.
At approximately 15:12 on March 27, 2026, a Chevrolet Silverado was observed traveling at high speed on a two-lane road under wet and low visibility conditions. Once a unit got behind it, the driver immediately accelerated, pushing close to 100 miles per hour, repeatedly crossing lanes and riding the center line, creating a serious risk of head-on collisions.
Interstate, gonna be fine. Something bad on the door.
Sustained pressure from behind began to destabilize the vehicle. With no safe space left to keep accelerating, the driver dropped to around 60 miles per hour but continued making aggressive steering inputs, exposing a clear opening. The suspect attempted to flee. The pit maneuver was unsuccessful, causing the vehicle to spin and only lightly strike the rear before the pursuit continued.
Going all units 1063, 1033.
Seizing the moment, the pursuing unit moved into position and executed a precise pit maneuver to the rear quarter. The Silverado instantly broke traction, swung sideways, and spun out on the wet roadway, losing all control before coming to a stop.
Copy, GV.
This incident shows that fleeing only prolongs the danger. When the moment comes, pursuits tend to end quickly and decisively, never on the suspect's terms. The suspect was quickly subdued at the scene. The incident shows that fleeing only makes the situation more dangerous, while the outcome remains the same, being apprehended. Choosing to stop and cooperate is always the safer option for everyone involved.
To make a call, say something like dial 206-555-188. To launch a personal assistant on your connected phone, press and hold the voice button on the steering wheel.
On February 16, 2026, at approximately 14:36, an Arkansas State Police trooper observed a white Chevrolet Cavalier displaying a mismatched license plate on Highway 7 South. As the trooper turned to follow, the driver abruptly changed lanes and quickly turned onto Echo Valley Road, indicating an attempt to evade. When emergency lights were activated, the vehicle initially slowed and pulled into a private driveway, but suddenly accelerated, exited out the rear, and re-entered the roadway. The suspect ran a stop sign, crossed Highway 7 South, and continued into a residential area at approximately 78 miles per hour in a posted 35 miles per hour zone, showing complete disregard for public safety.
Echo Point.
The pursuit came to a critical point at a circular dead end. As the suspect attempted to maneuver and escape, the trooper moved in and used a close-range pit/TVI technique, pinning the driver's door shut with the patrol vehicle to prevent escape.
Shove it in fucking head! Nope! You better stop, motherfucker!
The suspect then climbed over to the passenger side and fled on foot. The trooper immediately gave chase and apprehended him approximately 150 yards away without further incident. The case highlights that whether fleeing by vehicle or on foot, suspects are quickly contained, reinforcing that attempting to evade law enforcement only escalates the situation with no real escape. The suspect was subsequently taken into custody on charges of felony fleeing, reckless driving, and multiple other violations. On March 24, 2025, at approximately 8:22 p.m., a trooper observed a gray Buick SUV driving erratically, abruptly cutting across from the middle lane to enter the I-40 ramp. When a traffic stop was initiated, the driver, later identified as Stephen Franklin, refused to comply and accelerated, even driving into oncoming traffic. The pursuit quickly escalated as the suspect sped through multiple roadways, reaching speeds of up to 80 miles per hour in a 40 miles per hour zone, running red lights and crossing lanes. After merging onto I-40 and later I-440, speeds climbed to 125 miles per hour. A pipe maneuver was attempted near mile marker 8 but was unsuccessful as the suspect aggressively countered by cutting in front of the patrol unit and disrupting positioning.
4, copy 6 to 8, 440 westbound.
The suspect continued fleeing through several streets before turning onto Loma Drive, a dead-end road. There, he opened the door while the vehicle was still moving and jumped out in an attempt to escape. The vehicle struck a tree and came to a stop, at which point the trooper moved in and pinned it against the tree, fully disabling it. The suspect then fled on foot into a wooded area, prompting units to establish a perimeter.
Show me your fucking hands!
During a search of the vehicle, a 5-month-old child was found on the rear floorboard, unsecured with a car seat on top. Officers also recovered a PA-15 rifle, multiple individually packaged bags of marijuana, and a scale. Approximately 2 hours later, the suspect was located and taken into custody in an exhausted state. The incident highlights the extreme danger of fleeing while armed and placing a child in harm's way, decisions that carry serious consequences.